Pillars of Eternity continues.
Of course. Another turn, Inquisitor.
The house signals some unseen attendant standing beside a large crank.
I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused? Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Only my truth, then.
Another turn.
No! Wait! I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Theo shakes his head and points at the Inquisitor, and the scraping grind of rusted gears echoes in your mind as the apparitions fade away.
When you get to the bottom, holler up here. Let me know if it's safe.
A great pit lies in the shadow of the statue of Wareka. No light from the surface reaches the bottom, but even so, you catch flickers of a ghostly glow in the depths. A wind from the pit buffets you. It isn't cold, but it raises goose flesh along your arms. The wind carries a whisper, low and sibilant. As you look into the pit, souls gather around you. They encase you in a cloud of essence that swirl around your body while you consider your next move. Jump in, baby. You jump, trusting in the promises of gods and the power of the souls to bear you safely down. Sudden drop takes your breath away, but the souls catch you, encasing you in a shining, thrumming aura. But while they slow your descent, you can still feel that you are falling faster than you should. The essence flowing around you is strong but chaotic. You find yourself drifting toward a wall. Mind the wall, Lug-Lug. That'll leave all kinds of marks. Well, we got the athletics. We'll flip ourselves directing back to the center of the pit. You steer yourself to safety of the open space. You manage to spread your arms and legs into an X, steadying your position at the rate of your descent. You reach the court of penitence, millennia-old stone safely under your feet. Your party is considered high level for content in Act 4. If you'd like, the critical path can be increased in difficulty to give you more of a challenge. The rewards you receive will be the same regardless. No, sir. I only signed up for the standard gameplay here. I'm already getting my ass handed to me by dragons.
It seems like an eternity. Your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Adra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath. Their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through, now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
Well, that went better than I expected. Everyone all right? No shattered knees? Good. Just me, then.
Looks like all my parts are still moving.
Alright. Council of Stars has completed the Memory of the Ancients. I've done as the Delamgan advised. I've been carried safely into the depths of Breth Eaman, with the blessing of the gods, who would have me stop Thales before he sends the souls of Deerwood's Hollowborn to be consumed by his goddess Wodeka. Whether or not that happens, we would seem to have unfinished business, and I need to find him as soon as I can. The whispers in my mind are louder now, and no amount of rest is any relief. By the time I reach him, I may be as lost as Mirwald was. You cannot fuck with their stronghold here. Alright, let's do this.
You gotta see this.
Hey-ho!
As you wish. Well?
Alright, I think it's time to just start burning stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and go dual wielding with Eder, actually. Enchant Golden Stunia. We're gonna make it Durgan Refined. Beluska's Labor also seems pretty sick. 16 to 23. Could do a little bit more. But it's got lots of accuracy. 25% damage when attacking the same target as an ally. Damage is restored as endurance. I'm going to make it also legendary with my last Kraken Eye. And also make it Durgan Refined. As well as his armor. Let's make it crush proof. We're going to hook up the dagger here. Slain versus Vessels. Lug is probably going to stick with his Grey Sleeper and Abaddon's Hammer, so really can't do much with that. Also, his armor is already Durgan reinforced. Let's make that crush proof as well. It's already exceptional. Unfortunately, I don't have any Adra dragon scales, and I never finished the Bog Dragon. Not yet, anyhow. I don't think we'll need it if the game's telling me I'm overpowered, though. I think we should go ahead and enchant everyone's armor at this point. Not enough materials. That's already slash proof. Alright, fair enough. We got a master save in case we decide to change that around.
Of course.
You can see we're playing this game multiple times. Definitely educates you on what's good to do, what's not good to do.
No prisoners!
Oh, goddamn.
No murder like.
Better run, bitch.
As you wish.
That ain't gonna work.
What?
Yes.
The pillar tugs at your essence. A pulse from the world itself moves through it. Went ahead and switched out Luglug's Riona's Vam Braces, which gives some damage reduction, bypass. 5% misses are converted to grazes. Nice thing about these is my resolve is +4. With the Siegebreaker gauntlets, bringing him up to 19. Which is going to help a lot with deflection, will, concentration, things like that. Think I'm digging it. Let's soften him up. And now the rest of you are fucked, so fucked.
Indeed.
Okay, let me draw my box, thank you. Durance has something to say.
What is it, Watcher? If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
Does what we learned about Wadeka trouble you?
It stinks of her. It is justice, but if her greater purpose was to think Margaret would fall prey to such deceit, and Aethys, Widewind had always claimed to be invading Deerwood to free it. What if it were true? What if he had come to stop Woodika's plot before it began? Surely Aethys earned his death at Godhammer Citadel, but not for those reasons. Not to keep him silent. If such a thing has brought about this chaos,
Durance tilts his head as if he's listening to an inner voice. Then he frowns, the frown deepening as he speaks.
must we always be tools of gods? If Woodika and Margrin, if they are the cause of this, the Hollowborn, if the Purges were never necessary, if Aethys was fighting back,
then your Godhammer didn't save Deerwood. It doomed it.
so many lies. And Woodika, perhaps she is the next god to fall beneath the Godhammer.
Would it have been better had you been spared this knowledge?
No, I am glad to have walked this far with you, seen this truth. Perhaps it was what I was meant to see, with a watcher's eyes. All these dances of words and intrigues, machines of men, twisted, ripping the souls of children, and by the gods, the goddess of justice. If I could end her like Aethys, Margrin burned her once. One can do so again. Woodika, she must answer to her own justice.
Justice or revenge?
Anyone with a shred of spirit seeks both justice and punishment. It burns in the heart of anyone who lives. All seek it. If the world does not balance, we all drown in the oceans. and the gods would not care. Margaret, she must be redeemed, and punishing Woodica, that will serve.
Margaret was allied with Whitaker. She tried to kill all the makers of the Godhammer.
Is this some final joke at my expense? To test my faith further? And why would you think that, Watcher?
The others who made the Godhammer. They all died, didn't they? That's why I saw their symbols fade from your staff.
If all you have are questions, then I have enough of those. She is a bitch of a goddess, to be sure. But even a whore only goes so far in crossing those she serves.
You said you left Asphalt without telling anyone of your departure.
You answer a question with a question. Then why did I feel her disappointment at Halgot? Why were we shamed?
I think she tried to kill you there.
Kill me? She is a goddess. I still drink from her burning breasts, Watcher. If she wished me dead, she could trace me to my source and kill me.
In the dream of the Godhammer, your spirit looked blurred, indistinct in the light, as if it had been sheared from you. He stares at you, his expression frozen, but he's silent, listening. I feel like we've already gone through this, but if he had been damaged, as I saw in the Godhammer vision, then she may be unable to see you as you once were.
There's no proof, Watcher. I was a fool to think you could help me see any farther than I could.
If you don't trust me, trust your staff. Admit that the other Godhammer builders are dead.
They died in the blast, yes. The other 11. I was the only one to walk away. I thought we had wronged our goddess. That this was my trial, and if I could prove myself worthy of her! I should have known better. There is only one God of redemption, and I saw him ended.
He steadies his staff. You feel a wave of heat, a terrible energy rolling forth from its waves. It feels as if the Godhammer itself is alive in his hands. And past it you hear a cry like a child being born. And your eyes feel the flash of white, and then 100 imagined shades of purple white streaming and circling into the howling of a storm. And beneath it the grinding of ancient machines, stone, rock, and metal, grinding and turning, until all around you feel as if it's burning, sinking into the shadows of the earth, beneath the ground, the only place where a spirit might find refuge.
To think, for I have learned one of the lessons of the faithful.
Yeah, we already fucking did that in the last fucking video. Thanks for wasting my fucking time now.
As you wish.
Fucking asshole. A column of Adra rises above you, stoic and silent, its ridged layers a measuring stick for the passing of ages. It feels to you as if a thick block of ice, and you perceive buried deep in the core a dim flickering flame, all but extinguished, yet preserved against the ravages of the elements. At your approach, the flame seems to steady and draw strength, and the layers separating it from you melt away, and you are bathed in its glow, a bright beacon in the gloom. The glow seems to fade as though you had adjusted to its intensity, and where it was, Ivara seeps into existence, an idiotic shade hovering above the moist prison floor. Moist. She looks moist. Though ageless, she appears somehow different to you now, a slight stoop to her carriage perhaps, or a trace of sunkenness in her eyes. There's a broad scar across her face, fibrous and wormy where flames once lapped, unhealed even in death.
You've come back. I had thought to have set you on the right path ages ago. Or did I merely fail a second time? You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here?
I wanted to make sure you still suffer for your transgressions.
Only if my existence were painful would my sentence bring me suffering. My Punisher's assumption says more of him than it does of me. I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Theos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done, but I do know of the souls that pass through here now. They do not come by choice.
Theos diverted them from the cycle. He seeks to empower Wadeka, and to blame Animancy for the damage he's caused.
After all this time, he would still stand against the tide.
You knew me when Theos did. There's something I need to know about that time.
I will tell you what I remember.
There's something about the lifetime my soul and can't let go of. I need to know what it is, and I'm running out of time. I see moments from that life, of you, of the Inquisition, of Theos.
I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. He had inspired something in you. We spoke of him the last time you were here also. It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching may have been true.
And what was that?
Alvaro's mouth tightens, and her brow furrows with a look of pity. Her eyes shift back and forth between each of yours, as if looking for something that would help her decide whether to speak.
That the gods aren't real.
I talked to them.
I'd dreaded the idea from the moment the Delimgon suggested it. And yet, it almost feels like a relief. She's not serious.
Perhaps not to her. Many are those whom the gods have scorned. This is petty retribution.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
Who created these gods, and for what?
They were conceived by Engwyth, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Theos's people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Engwythans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the true creators. Generation after generation, they prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day, they found an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. There were no gods to be found. Or if there ever were, they were gone. It shook them, this finding. If they could discover this on their own, how long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void, and sent missionaries to the corners of the world to spread their faith.
This is why you started your own faith?
I never thought of it as faith, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see. Let them decide what to do. That was my faith. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed, that I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning the other missionaries in public, exposing their parlor tricks. In time, their following became mine.
How in the fuck did you discover this?
The Engwythan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them. And in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I investigated the things they spoke of, and everything was there, just as they said it'd be.
Later on, after I left the Order, a few Engwythans found my works persuasive and joined my cause. They revealed what I did not already know.
Is it true what you taught?
You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, And it may
They
be
really couldn't have her
certainty
read
your
that one
soul
other fucking
craves.
sentence.
Resolution.
Lazy asses.
But if you are bound for the same place Theos directs these souls, you will see for yourself as you once did. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. And in avoiding the question, they deny themselves an identity of their own.
Alvara scans her audience in silence, her eyes thoughtful, lingering on each member of your company in turn, finding interest in things unseen.
What if all the tragedy, all the persecution, came in defense of an imposter?
But that's not... That can't be right. Aethys, he's done miracles for people.
What if it were forbidden knowledge rather than fault that earned your doom? What of your guilt?
I have seen with my own eyes the deceptions of my goddess. The Watcher has shown me as much. But it was not until now that I understood how truly desperate she was. The depths of her deception.
You speak of her deceptions, but what of your own? Was it her words that led you down your path? Or was it the absence of her words? A gap that you filled with your own broken thoughts?
Beads of sweat coalesce on Durance's forehead, trickle down the sides of his face in a streaming rivulets, as though he were a block of ice standing before a great pyre.
What if you had always been alone, without guidance?
Well, as poorly as I've chosen my guides, I suppose it would be a comfort to know that I'm free of them.
The freedom has always been. It was the guidance that was the illusion.
She looks at the Devil of Karak, whose eyes gleam coldly in the pale glow.
What if your body is destined to outlive your purpose?
And keep me caged up? Like you? I ain't gonna let my soul go to rot in this thing.
You may have little choice in the matter, but as to your purpose, that choice is yours.
You feel the weight of Alvara's translucent eyes upon your soul. What if we can be assured of nothing?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Then we had best build our own strength so we can bear it.
It's the trials, Watcher, that make us what we are. Have I not always said so?
Yet strength is not given, but earned, and always in proportion to its cost. What will you sacrifice for yours, and who will pay the toll? I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted. No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it?
I don't think it makes much difference either way.
I often wonder that myself. If things had gone differently, if the world had taken my faith instead of the Anguithin's faith, would it truly be what I had envisioned? I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest until I know. Until I understand.
For the first time, hints of doubt trace her serene visage.
I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember?
As she asks, the memory springs to your mind immediately, as though it had just happened.
Sorry, there are no assurances.
Alvera looks at your face, one condemned. Her mouth moves, but she speaks no words. Her eyes glaze focused no longer on you, but some invisible crushing vision before her.
You were naive to be so trusting of people.
We knew little of each other before you arrived at my camp. You might have been anybody, which is why your choice meant everything. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who?
Your optimism has always been misplaced. That's why you're here now.
Maybe so. Maybe so. You denied me a chance to know your reasons. And even if you hadn't, some part of me would always know it didn't truly answer what I wished to know. nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. I will have only my guesses and suspicions, and that will have to do.
You're gonna have a lot less than that, bitch!
And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made?
I would do it again given the chance.
At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish, but now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Theos that your agony lies, in sun and shadow. Your questions are not for me, but for him. And it may be that only an answer from the mouth of Theos himself will satisfy your needs. Yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know.
The place of sun and shadow. What the fuck is it?
I could tell you what I believe, but again, it would be no proof. I have only what I have seen, and what others have told me about it. There's only one man who can tell you now, who knows its certainty, and you shall face him soon enough. I will leave you to see it for yourself, make your own judgments. Better for your soul that way, I think.
Are you bound here till the end of time?
In a matter of speaking. This is Braeth Yamen, the court of the penitents. Souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. The spite of Woodica is eternal. They linger above, at the side of the old court, and are not permitted to leave the island, forever severed from the cycle. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition, but time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains. Yet, I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out for the judgment of Theos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then.
I'm using the gods to further my own ends.
They aid you because they would bend you to their own purposes. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and vicious thing. But these souls, these forgiven the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end.
How can I get Theos to tell me what I need to know?
You will not find a more resolute being on all of Eora. There is no offer you could make, nor spell you could cast, nor pain you could inflict that would make him reveal what he hides. But I see you have become a watcher in this life. Perhaps in defeat, when he can no longer defend himself, you might learn something from him.
How do you speak Aedirn?
I speak no language now, but the wordless expressions of the spirit. It is through my connection to you I am able to draw upon your words to form them as my own.
Why has Theos done all this? I'm gonna kick him in the balls.
He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys anyone who might discover it, no matter their chances. That's why he's always favored Woodica. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Theos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And she wants that secret guarded as much as he. If Theos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Woodica was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty is that there will be chaos in their realm, as well as ours.
Do you know what it is I need from Theos?
I could not say for sure. But you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life. when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. Everything I told you seemed to send you further into doubt. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this world.
Time for me to go!
Theos will not wait for you. If you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again.
If you hadn't planted doubt in my mind long ago, I'd be living a normal life right now, bitch. Before I go, I will repay you for this curse.
You notice a bond now, one that has always been an interleaving of her essence with yours at the extremities of your perception. You are tied to this woman's spirit, and you can feel a measure of control over it, as though you were its shepherd.
I never wished to bring you harm. I had thought that the truth would liberate you.
I'm gonna extract you from this prison, send you back to the cycle, doom you to forget all you know. Perhaps one day you will awaken and share the fate I face now.
Please, even imprisoned here, at least I do not live in ignorance. At least my purpose was formed by truth. Do not make me give up all I have fought for.
Goodbye!
Beneath you, you perceive an immense concentration of Adra, deep as the world itself, vivid and humming in your awareness. A channel that passes beyond Briath Emin and into the unbounded space beyond. You focus on Iovara, wrapping wisp of her essence around her like something smothering bestial claw. Now firmly in your grasp, you drag her soul downward, even as she tears at her surroundings, trying to grab hold of anything that would allow her to resist the force that you impose upon her. You draw her deep beneath the floor toward the magnetic pool of the arterial Adra beneath, until the pool is irresistible. Then all at once you release her soul, and she is gone. Doom that bitch to an eternity of forgetful nothingness.
Bring them to...
This thing isn't doing the job.
That's it! Naughty! Kill them all!
As you wish.
Hey,
Let's do it.
Gotta try something else. No murdering like this.
As you wish. As you wish.
Got it done.
Daybreak. Uh-oh. Unique Morning Star. Exceptional. 25% to cast Destroy Spirit on hit. Daybreak was the product of careful engineering of the Animancer from Solace Vale. Hoping to create a defense against the blights and phantoms that often plague neighboring villages, he developed a Morning Star that was especially effective against such nightmarish beings. Unfortunately, he died before he could make more. Even though he had no involvement in the early experiments with the Hollowborn, he was murdered by one of the many lynch mobs that formed after the appearance of the first Wicks. And Boots of Speed. I think I'm going to pass on equipping that since I've already kind of buffed up everything.
So, it's true. The gods are a sham that people have followed for thousands of years.
And that wraps it up for this video. See you guys next week for the final video.